Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to everyone. It's me, Jordan, and my colleague Nedelcho. We are working in SAP, and today we want to share with you some details about the low-code development, what it is, and how it is affecting our industry. So, what is a low-code development? Actually, we have the following agenda. I'll keep it very short and simple. And we'll start with what is a low-code application platform. And then we'll go through one open source low-code application platform, which is called Dirigible. And in the end, we'll finish with some demos and samples. Good. So first of all, what is a low-code application platform? Actually, the low-code trend is not so new. It dates back in the 90s, actually. And it has a few reincarnations through the years. And most recently, it is more popular as low-code, no-code application development. Basically, this means that the development is done through user interface, and it provides, in most cases, reusable components, which can be easily added together in a working software. It is targeted more for citizen developers, which means more like a business user with limited development skills. So nothing fancy like Kubernetes, Java, and stuff. In most cases, it is provided as software as a service, and it comes pre-integrated with the underlying platform. As I said, it provides, in most cases, drag and drop experience or other alternative user interface experience for development. According to some studies, it is up to 10 times faster. So the application development, the whole life cycle of development and deployment is up to 10 times faster, which ultimately saves money. And there's one quote by Gartner that says that by 2024, so 4 years from now, such low-code application development platforms will be responsible for up to 65% of the application development activities. And there's another study also from Gartner that claims that almost 75% of all large enterprises will have at least 4 such low-code application platforms for development, and they will be used heavily. So let's take a look at who are the players right now at this market. So here we talk about Salesforce, Mendix, OutSystem, Microsoft, and ServiceNow. Well, Salesforce is by no means the largest and the most popular player. It is the most established one and has the largest community. I would say that the reason for that is that Salesforce has so much reusable modules, and it comes with pre-integrated functionality of the underlying CRM solution that in the end they're selling. Okay, so as it comes with opportunities, the low-code trend comes with some challenges. I'll say the main challenge is that it has so many focus areas like data services, business rules, mobile services, user interface modeling, even AI-assisted development, which is a trend, for example, that when you start developing a low-code application, AI is used to suggest you what kind of entities or how the business process can be improved. That means that we have a lot of specialized platforms which are targeting several of these use cases, but in no mean all of them, even the leaders of now. And currently the bad thing about it is that these local application platforms comes with vendor locking. So for all of these players, Salesforce, Microsoft, Mendix, and ServiceNow, they have proprietary technology which are used in these platforms, and That means once the customers go to their platform, it's over. They're logged in there. Okay, so that's why we have developed this Eclipse Dirigible project, which actually is part of the Eclipse Foundation. And I think now it's almost 5 years in the foundation, so it's kind of an anniversary for us. Initially, we started as a high productivity application platform, which back in the days was the not so popular name for the low-code application platforms. Now we follow the trend and we promote Dirigible as a such low-code application platform. But the main benefit of Dirigible is the in-system development experience that it provides, the zero turnaround time, which means and follows also the local trend that basically you don't have to restart your environment or to deploy your code anywhere because it is already pre-deployed and pre-integrated with the whole platform underneath. It comes with Web ID and a runtime environment. And I'll briefly update you on what are the three main trends in Dirigible about the low-code development. So the first one is the entity data modeling. The second one is the business process modeling. And the third one is the user interface modeling. So let's start with the entity data modeling. In Dirigible, you have the option to drag and drop entities like you see here in this picture, or as you will see in the demo in a few seconds. And these are the main entities of your application. After that, you can create some navigations and connections and relations to all of these entities. And you can also model each of the properties as well as the whole entity. And in the end, user interface, backend services, and data structures will be generated for you. The business process modeling allows you to dynamically create business steps and to alter their logic. Actually, this BPM functionality that we provide is based on Flowable, also open source project. The user interface modeling is basically a drag and drop functionality. It comes with pre-built UI components that can be used in the application. It comes with extensibility part, which allows you to configure the styling and to provide some sample data as well to provide your own custom components for the user interface modeling. So briefly, that was the presentation about the low-code application development. And now we'll go to the demo and sample section, actually. And we'll start here with dirigible.io, which is the main site and where you can find all of the details related to Dirigible. You can use this try it out button to launch a shared instance of Dirigible and to jump start into it. Or as I'm going to do, I'm going to use my local instance of Dirigible. I can create a new project here, which I call demo. And in this project, I'll create a new entity data model. So this is the drag and drop editor that I was talking about. And as Gartner is saying that this is more for citizen developers, which means business users with limited development skills, it is also actually a productivity boost for the development experts. So something that can be done in 5 days with regular coding, it can be done, it can be achieved in, let's say, half a day with such a platforms. So just to give you a quick example, I'll create a one entity, which I'll call students. I'll drag and drop few properties like first name, last name, and age. Then I'm going to create another entity, which will be subjects. So here we are talking about university or a school, just a simple model, and a mapping table or a mapping entity, student subject, which has a relation to the students as a student and to the subjects as a subject. Okay, so let me just move quick around this. So it's as of now it seems like a pure domain entity, as a pure entity relationship diagram, nothing fancy. But this tool gives you the ability also to configure just beyond the data. It gives you the ability to configure the user interface. So for the students entity, I can say that it will be a master entity, and with managed capabilities, I can put some icons, perspective, ordering, menus, and so on, even feeds and security. I can do the same thing for each and every property. And for example, for the ID, I don't want to show it in the table. And for the first name, I want to have a label with space in between. So it will be first name. I want the same thing for the last name. I can also provide some formatting or some validation patterns that can be applied. For the age, I can change the data type, the default data type to integer, and I can change the user interface to, let's say, number. For the relation, I can say that this will be a composition, and it will be one-to-many. So one student can have many subjects, or is assigned to many subjects. For the mapping entity, I can say that this is actually not a primary but dependent entity, and it is the detail part of the master detail relation. I also want to hide the ID just to have a prettier formatting. And for the subject, actually, this will be a widget of type dropdown, and I can provide a key and a dropdown value for it, which are coming from the subjects table. And last but not least, let's hide the ID for the subjects. Okay, so once I'm done with the modeling, I can save it, and a .model file will be generated for me, which is actually a JSON representation of my model. I can right click on it and click generate. From the list of templates, I can select one, for example, the application full stack template, and I can provide the required properties. I can even generate all data for it, but right now this won't be needed. Okay, so let me quickly publish that project, and then I'll go over it. So as you can see, a whole lot of folders were generated for me. And for example, if I take a look at the data folder, and here is one schema file, which is actually a JSON representation of the data tables that will be created underneath. It is the target state of the dirigible system, and it actually somehow matches to the concepts that are presented in Kubernetes as well. So we have a target state, and we have background jobs or processes that are trying to apply the needed changes in order to get to that final target state. Of course, you have an index.html, a UI folder, also a REST APIs folder, and so on. And by the way, this application, you can also modify it. So it was once generated, and after that, if by any means you want to modify it, you can do it. It's not closed like many other I would say, competitors in the market. It is JavaScript based, and it comes with own set of APIs, which can actually be seen from here, help API. But right now, as this is more of a low-code talk, I won't bother with this. Okay, let's see whether the application is up and running. Once I select the index.html, I can take the URL from the preview tab down here, and I can open it in a new tab. I can see that for me, a dashboard was generated with 2 entities and 1 group, which was the default one entities. I can go to the subjects page, and I can create a new subject, for example, math, and also maybe English. And let's have some music there. If I go to the students page, I can see that my changes were applied. So here the label is with space between the first and the name and the last and the name. And I can create a new student, for example, me. And here you can see that this is actually a number control. And I can say that I am not 62, but 28. And I can save it. If I select the student, I can assign it to a certain subject, for example, math, and then to English. And I can create another student, Nedeucho, and I say that he's 40, for example. And I can see that this student is not assigned to any subject. Of course, I can do the same assignment for him. Now you see that in just 5 minutes, I was able to actually create a full stack application with a database layer, with RESTful services, and with some kind of admin user interface. And imagine what can be done if you take a lot more time to develop. Just to show you another sample, I'll go to the CRM sample, which is more interesting. Actually, you can run it on your own by clicking here on the Run on Dirigible button, and it will ask you on which instance to be run. But I already copy maybe there's something in the chat that I have to take a look. Okay, maybe I'll answer these questions later. So, just going back to the demo, I'm going to show one more comprehensive demo, which can be done in 5 minutes. It can be generated, of course, that fast, which has like 20 or so entities. As you can see, it is a CRM-related demo. You have account, you have quote, industry, account contacts, activity, opportunity, and so on. Okay, so all of this modeling and configuration were done in the same way here. So this application was generated, and if I take a look at it, here's how it's looking like. Okay, so you have some categories here like customers, sales, products, configurations, and so on, and I have some sample data in it. I also have this business process also, which is for quote approval. And as I said, it is based on Flowable, and you can see the familiar Flowable editor here. You have just 3 tasks here, the initial start task. You have a gateway with a condition whether the quote amount is greater or equal to 10, and you have the auto approve task. If I take a look at the implementation of these tasks, we're JavaScript based. Actually, this send notification will be much interesting. And this task actually sends a real mail. I've done the configuration, the mail configuration previously, so I don't have to provide now the credentials for the mail server. And interestingly, I can also create a listener. So based on the entities that were created previously in this CRM modeling, I can attach it, or I can plug into certain events like the create of a sales quote, and then I can trigger some handlers, which are triggering actually the process. Okay. So if I go to the CRM home, I can create a new quote. And let's check it out. Okay, so I'll type amount which is greater than 10, for example, 15, with 5% of discount for the product one, and it will be something in kilograms, and I want 1000 of this. The currency will be USD. I can save it, and after a while, an email will be sent. So if I go to my Gmail, I can see that right now at 2:52, I've received this CRM approved quote mail. And if I open it, I can see that I have the details of the the details of the quote. So the company, the product, the discount, and the quote amount. And this is how fast you can create such low-code applications with Dirigible. The good thing about Dirigible is that it comes with some pre-delivered or pre-configured functionality, and you can start using it as it is. But also you can tailor it for your certain use case, and you can embed it in your applications as you want. Or you can extend it and add additional functionalities and then just deploy it and use it. So quickly, this was my talk about what a low-code application is, what is the trend, and what is being done here in the Eclipse Foundation about it, in the Eclipse Dirigible project. So now I'm going to take a look at the questions, and I'll stop sharing my screen. Okay. So the first question is, are the JSON representation APIs or somehow documented and stable? Let's say someone wants to generate the dirigible models automatically from some source code instead of manually. Yes, the JSON representation is documented. You can find it on the dirigible.io site in the help section. Also, yes, you can then, so if you have some source and out of it you can generate such a JSON representation, a process or a task in Dirigible can be triggered, which will generate automatically your, or will generate such an application. And yes, the code generator could be extended and also customized. You can basically provide also your own template, which means that you don't have to stick with the predefined set of 5 or 6 templates that we have. So everything in Dirigible is customizable and pluggable. We rely on this concept heavily because we know that there are so many use cases which needs to be targeted, and we want to be as agile as possible. So let's take a look at the next question. How does the generated code deal with regenerating and combining with developer customized code? Very good question, actually. What we say is that this is a one-time generation. So once you generate the code, it means that if you change it somehow in the generated thing and then try to regenerate it, it will be your how to say, your updates will be lost. That's why we say that all of these customizations should be done in an extendable way. For example, for the business process that you saw, I've used a listener, which is triggered when a CRM code is created, which means that I don't have to touch the generated code, but I can plug into some events which are happening automatically, and then I can write my logic there. Okay, next question. What type of application are the best fit for Dirigible? Okay, another very good question. We promote it for business applications, but Dirigible is also suitable for extending existing applications, which doesn't have to be low-code only. So what does this means? So in Dirigible, it was started as high productivity tooling, as I said, 5 or 6 years ago. And it was always targeted to help somehow the developers to boost their productivity. And that's why you can develop with code. So you can create full application by hand. It doesn't have to be low-code generated. But we combine the two things. We combine the local development together with the application, the manual application development, and both of the options are available. Okay, next question. And by the way, thank you for having so much questions. I'm not sure if I will be able to answer all of them because I see that there are plenty. But I'll be really happy if you go to dirigible.io, and even if you want to go to the issue section in the GitHub or somehow to get in touch and to be able to answer your question. It will be really valuable for us. So next question, can I deploy my app built with Dirigible anywhere on different cloud vendors? What are the requirements? Very good. So Dirigible is actually Java based. It's running on Tomcat. So we have a set of pre-integrated versions of Dirigible, which are making it easy for deploying, for example, to SAP Cloud Platform and also to the OpenShift. We can create such a version for you, or basically you can use our Docker build, which is coming integrated with Keycloak, which allows you to deploy Dirigible anywhere. So far, we've tried to deploy it anywhere on the clouds as a, as a pure virtual machine, or on Kubernetes, even on Cloud Foundry, and we haven't met any problems so far. So it's available for deployment anywhere. What other technology from Eclipse is Dirigible using? I don't know this word, sorry. So Dirigible was heavily using in its previous version the RAP, the RAP framework. We've used also some of the Orion plugins for the editor and so, and few other projects as well. We try to contribute to the whole community, and actually Nedelcho is the Eclipse Cloud Development Tool lead, and together with the other projects like Chetia and so on, they're driving the strategy, the Eclipse strategy for the cloud development tools. Another question, what is the difference between low code and other techniques like model-driven approach, like Eclipse Papyrus Software Designer, or BPN-based approach and 4G approach? Actually, there's no such big difference between them. The difference is in that all of this, or most of these technologies, are combined in one place, and the purpose here is to have easiness of development. So so imagine all of these techniques combined together, running together in a seamless way, deployed on a cloud environment. This is the real benefit that Dirigible is providing, pre-integrated with the security, with the database connectivity, with the eventing, and so on, of your favorite cloud. Okay. Are there constraints regarding the underlying DB, SQL, NoSQL architecture? Okay, so for the underlying database, right now we're using SQL, and in the next release we are planning to add support also for NoSQL, both for the dirigible itself as a deployment artifacts and for the generated applications. Which template engines are using behind the scene? Okay, very good question. We are using the Velocity, the Apache Velocity engine, and also, sorry, I forgot the other one. So we have Mustache. We are using Mustache as well. Okay, maybe these were all of the questions. So thank you so much for your time and for your attention. If you have additional questions or if you want to just get in touch and to talk about Dirigible more, just drop us an email, write us a GitHub issue, or just follow us on Twitter. Thank you so much, guys, and have a nice day, evening, and great EclipseCon. Thank you.